Richard Jamieson. This is the BentoBox SMEB index, my submission for the Encode Hack Africa hackathon, mainly for the sushi swap and polygon challenges. So you can see here the home page of this DApp that I've built. The DApp is effectively an index, equally weighted sushi, Matic, ETH, and Bitcoin, and a monthly rebalanced index. So an easy way for people to invest in those 4 tokens in a balanced way in a little monthly fund. They can just deposit USDC via this page. The USDC goes onto the BentoBox, and then it's put into that fund. What you can see here is some more information: deposit in USDC, withdraw in USDC, the potential fee at some point. The assets remain on BentoBox, and so they can actually earn additional yield with their assets sitting there on BentoBox. This is all on Polygon mainnet, and you've got to have MetaMask installed, obviously. This is the URL. I put it in the submission as well, so you can go and play around with this yourselves. Just to talk you through the 3 main functions, there are 3 main things that the site needs to do. Obviously, it needs to take deposits, it needs to do the monthly rebalancing, and then it needs to be able to handle withdrawals as well, or allow users to make withdrawals. So I'm going to speak you through those 3 in a moment, just to show you what's here on the page. Though we've got the TVL, just $1 in there at the moment, split evenly between those 4 assets. The share of this user is 0%. They've got nothing. I put that in through a different user. So if this user wanted to put funds in now, they first got to approve the master contract with this button and a couple of confirmations that would come up. Then they can put in here $10 US. They've got to approve that spend first, and then they can deposit that. And then there's a couple of things that happen behind the scenes then after that also need a few confirmations. So they deposit the funds to BentoBox. The DApp then takes those funds from BentoBox and withdraws them down onto the DApp itself. Once they're on the DApp, it then does 4 swaps. So from USDC into each of those 4 tokens there, it does those 4 swaps with Sushi Swap. So that it's then got 4 tokens. It's then got to redeposit those 4 tokens back onto BentoBox, which is where they sit. And at the same time, it does a recording of the share of this new user's share of the total funds, and that sits on the smart contract as well. So that is the deposit process. The rebalancing process then is something that the user doesn't see, but it's a separate admin page here for doing that. So again, there are a couple of steps involved with rebalancing. So firstly, one has to withdraw the funds from BentoBox to the DApp, then do 3 swaps this time, just to make sure that those 4 assets are in balance, and those 3 swaps, according to an algorithm, are done via Sushi Swap again. And then this step number 3 is depositing back from the DApp onto BentoBox, so sending the funds back again, those 4 tokens. So one would come on there and do that once a month, and then I'd look to automate that part of the process. Then the final, third and final thing, so we've got deposits, we've got rebalancing, and then we've got withdrawing the funds, is where the user needs to, or chooses to withdraw their funds. At the moment, it's just all or nothing, so they withdraw all of their funds. And if they were to click there, again, a couple of steps involved in the process. They're going to get USDC back. So firstly, those 4 tokens get, their share of them get withdrawn from BentoBox to the DApp. Again, 4 swaps done by a Sushi Swap to swap from those 4 tokens back into USDC. And once they're in USDC, put back onto BentoBox and then withdrawn out to the user's account. So those are the 3 key things that the site does. Quite simple in some ways, but been quite an interesting journey putting it all together and figuring out how to interact with BentoBox and Sushi Swap, and all of this on Polygon. Of course, a site and a DApp like this wouldn't be possible on Ethereum. The transaction fees would just kill it. So I found it quite exciting that on Polygon now it's possible to create something like this, which is non-custodial, which has very low transaction fees and makes sense even for an amount of $1. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed that little presentation. Please go and check out the code base, check out the site. There are definitely still lots of improvements that could be made and bugs to be fixed and so on. But yeah, really enjoyed the process. Thanks guys. Cheers.